Hello and welcome to another episode here on my channel. My name is ChaosMole, and today we are watching the Nightingale development update for February 13th, 2023. Nightingale has been in development for quite some time now. It has also been postponed for quite some time now. We haven't really heard anything about early access, even the betas and stuff which were supposed to happen didn't happen yet. Like, we had one beta as far as I know, but the other alpha, beta, whatever you want to call it, still hasn't happened yet. And we are in the middle of February. And the whole Nightingale team was pretty quiet as of recent, because they were probably in mid-development. So now they are back with a new announcement, with a new development update. This one is going 7 minutes, so we will watch this together. I'm also streaming this live with my community, so if I'm sometimes answering some questions in chat and you're like, who is that dude talking to? I'm also streaming at the same time. But I would say let's just watch this video, because Nightingale is actually one of the big survival games I'm really looking forward to in 2023. It looks fantastic so far. So let's have a look, shall we? And that is...
Hey, Realm Walkers. Welcome back to the first developer update of 2023.
What?
So let's
oh yeah, that looks better. That wasn't 4K. Wow.
It's launch year. So what can we expect? We wanted to use this video to give you an update as to where we're at in development, as well as the studio's focus for the coming weeks.
That's good.
We really appreciate all of the feedback and positivity that you've been sending our way. It's just invaluable to us here at the studio, and it's really helped us shape what the coming weeks and months ahead look like. So without further ado, let's jump into it.
Yay! Okay, current progress.
When we came back from the winter break, we've been doing a lot of prioritizing as we look at the roadmap for the rest of the year. Right now, we're pretty happy with the amount of content that we have for an early access launch.
Okay,
but based on the feedback that we were getting from the closed alphas, it was clear to us that we wanted to do some more work when it comes to reducing the friction between all of the different pieces, making them more cohesive.
This was something a lot of people feared, yeah.
A really solid foundation that we can build on for the years ahead. As part of that decision making, we decided to forgo a playtest in January and February, as this will let our developers have more time to tackle their most important work. In previous playtests, we gave our developers 2 to 3 weeks for development time and then a week to squash out major bugs. By giving our developers more time, we're aiming to let our players experience a more impactful change. One area undergoing improvement is increasing the amount of immersion that players feel when they're exploring the Feywilds. So we're making some adjustments to make sure that our realms feel more fantastical. One way that we're doing that is by introducing new foliage, resources, as well as creature variations.
Yeah, this is one of the things I will pause it, because it's not like a full-on reaction video I'm making. But like one of the big problems I definitely saw in the trailers, and a lot of people have been saying, is the environment looked a bit samey. You know, like a lot of the stuff looked the same, and we didn't really saw anything fantastical out there. And maybe that was actually the case, and they are now trying to mix it up a little bit, which I think is a good thing. Another thing a lot of people were afraid of, because of the realm walking you were doing, like walking through the portals, that things would feel disconnected. Maybe that is actually the case, and they're working on that. But I have to say, the game was supposed to come out at the end of last year, and then they told us pretty early on, hey, we are moving over to Unreal Engine 5. Because of that, we have to postpone things, and it would take a little bit longer. I was like, wow, okay, that's fair, that makes sense, right? Absolutely. But it has been quite a while. We have now mid of February, and it seems like we will not be able to play Nightingale till April, maybe even later than that, which is a bit unfortunate. But again, take your time, not complaining, just saying that the timetable might have changed more significantly than we have originally thought.
Elsewhere, our blueprint system has been received positively, so we're looking forward
Good.
to introducing some new tile types to help empower player creativity. While we're talking about polishing current mechanics in the game, some of our playtesters reported that our gathering felt sluggish. So we've been studying the relationship between the animations and the in-game feedback. What we discovered is that while it might realistically make more sense that you get an item at the end of an animation, it does mean that there's more frames between you pressing a button and you getting the item. Whereas in other games, you might get that feedback maybe midway. We're changing it so even though the physical animation is the same, players are getting that in-game feedback much faster. This is something that we're
That looks
looking to
good.
implement in the next playtest and ensure that it feels better for players. We've
That
been
looks
learning a
good.
lot through this closed alpha period, and we hear that the game gets better with each and every one. Thank you to everyone who's involved in this process, and we look forward
I
to
am not in
maintaining
the
this
alpha,
trend.
I can
With
say
our
that.
focus being on refinements and improvements, this has led us to some decisions on some of the commonly requested community features that we've received.
Oh. Oh.
Throughout development, community members have asked us if we'll have dedicated server support. We understand that there are multiple reasons for this request.
Yes,
For
this
some,
was a
it's
big
because
request.
in similar games, if you were to play with other people, one person would host that game, and another person would join that instance. That
Yes.
means if the host is not online, it
You
means
can't
others
play.
cannot continue with that particular save file.
Which
For
sucks.
Nightingale, we will have dedicated official servers at early access launch. This
Cool.
means that if you are playing with friends and you invite them to your realm, and you all set that as your respite point, any one of you at any point will be able to start up that realm regardless of who is online. This is all
Nice.
included in the initial game offering, as it's fundamental to our studio principles of fantastic spaces,
That's
meaningful
awesome.
places. We recognize that asynchronous play is not the only reason that people request
That's
for
awesome.
dedicated servers, as some community members are looking for the ability to host private servers, as these can sometimes allow for additional server options, modding, and even ensures that the
Cheating.
game is available long after studio has supported it. What you might find interesting
The
is that
studio
many of
has
these
been
custom
gone out of
settings that we've seen
supported
other games
it.
employ are built into our realm card system. So for example, you will be able to make a realm easier or harder with minor realm cards, as well as things like make it always daytime or always nighttime. These tend to be a more gamified version of those server settings. There are other modifiers as well, and we look forward to showing them off to you closer to launch. There are also some benefits in having all of our initial players on official servers. The primary one being that we can streamline support, as we can make sure that all of our players are playing the same version of the game. By having all of our players on official servers, we can collect and analyze aggregate data. So this way we can make sure there aren't any major issues with the game. Also, by using this aggregate data,
As
when
long
we
as
look
I
at
don't
our
have to play
feedback,
with
we can
randoms.
see how that will impact the majority of our players and make sure it's not just from some vocal minority. Our team, which works with the more technical sides of the servers and networking, are working full-time and focusing to make sure that the official servers will perform the best that they can. As we go through early access, we should be able to share some more concrete information on the availability of private servers, as well as that when they can be implemented.
Okay.
Similar to dedicated servers,
Oh,
we've
modding.
been asked if we'll be supporting community modding. Many of our developers have enjoyed or even made mods for other games, so we're well aware of the benefits that they bring, from cool visual changes to personal UI preferences or gameplay settings, or even adding new content to a game. Mods can make a game feel fresh long after a studio has supported it. Much like private servers, we will not have official support for mods at the early access launch. This is mostly
It's a bit unfortunate that she... I get it because it's easier to understand for a lot of people, but I still find it unfortunate that she is framing modding as something which is coming into an effect when the studio has stopped supporting a game. Yes, that's what they're doing. Yes, that makes sense. But it's also a bit not true. Like sometimes the community wants something very specific and the developers don't necessarily see the value in it, and so they're doing it themselves, right? Like we have a lot of mods who became famous even when the game was still supported, right? Like sometimes the community sees something in the game the developer does not. And so mods are open up the possibilities to actually find ways of playing the game the developers have not intended it to be. Right? That is a very cool aspect. That doesn't mean that the game is bad. It just means that people have seen something the devs did not. It happens. So yeah, I find that a bit unfortunate that modding in itself is just being framed as, oh, this is coming when the game is not supported anymore. It's like, no.
To make sure our official servers aren't being overloaded with foreign code, but
Yeah.
it's also to make sure that we streamline support, and it's also
That makes
make sure
sense
that
to
all of
have
our
this together
feedback
with
is coming from
private
the same
servers.
game experience. Once we've launched the game and we have a better idea of our update cadence, as well as the server capacity
That makes all
and the
sense.
community demand, we hope that we can revisit this and support it in some capacity in the future.
Okay. So
We know
don't
that
hold
you're
your breath
eagerly
yet.
anticipating a launch date, and while we don't have one just yet, we are getting closer. Making definitive choices on some of these requests that we've gotten helps us focus on the core of the game and also make sure that we get it to you in both a timely and quality manner. If you're looking to get into a playtest, the good news is we do have more planned. So make sure that you keep an eye on
I would never
either
get
on
into the
our
playtest
Discord or on
because
your emails
also
for more details when it's available. Thank you all again for your continued patience, understanding,
I also signed up
and
for the content
support
creator
as we
program
continue
they
this
have,
journey towards launch together. We'll see you next time.
and I used the same email for the playtest. So that would never ever happen. They're like, oh, content creator wants to see NDA stuff. Nope. Nope. Don't trust you. Which I can totally understand. But that looks pretty good. Seems like we're getting closer. I hope so. I'm glad that they are doing alphas, betas, whatever you want to call them, pretty early on to collect the feedback. And it seems like they are listening to people, which again is great. It's needed. Too many studios are holding back with their games till they're allowed to play people till it is too late. Like, most prominent studio of all time for me is always DICE and the Battlefield series, right? Like, man, if they would just allow people to check it out so much sooner to tell them exactly what they think, then we would probably get a better Battlefield experience. But unfortunately, they don't do that too often. And that's really unfortunate. So I'm glad that Nightingale is opening up their servers, or has been opening up their servers for months now. Of course, I'm a bit sad that I'm not on it, but nonetheless, that's a great thing to do. Gathering community feedback, and the more eyes you have on the project, the better. So I'm looking forward to Nightingale Early Access, which is hopefully coming out soon. You will see more videos here on the channel in the foreseeable future. It's just we don't have too much to go by. That's the unfortunate truth. And the stuff which you can go by is under NDA. And so, yeah, there's not much yet. But definitely looking forward to it. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more Nightingale content here on the channel, please don't forget to like the video and also subscribe. What we are doing here on my main channel is we are doing live streams from Monday to Friday, starting at 8 a.m. ET, that is 1 p.m. UK time, and 2 p.m. Central European time. And we're talking about gaming news, playing the newest games, and yes, Nightingale will be a big part here on the channel. We are also doing guides, tips, and tricks for new games coming out. And again, yes, Nightingale will be a pretty big part on the channel in that regard. With that said, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and I hope to see you next time.